Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Me and Will are back today to do the Loki Marvel Plus talk. This is early, as usual for us, but here we are today to talk about episode 4 called The Next One Event. So, Will, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't believe it. Like, we're almost halfway there. I, I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
I mean, we are.
Um, like,
Through, I mean, there's 6 episodes, right?
yes,
Yeah, and we've gotten 4 of them, so there's only
got
2 more.
more, and that's it. And also, we got Black Widow coming out next Friday.
Yeah.
And by the way, folks, I'm actually seeing it on Friday with my friends. That's gonna be exciting. Um,
Yeah, I think I am too. I might be seeing it on Saturday, but
oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
yeah. I guess uh, like because I want to do a spoiler cast on Black Widow, and like that's some like discuss what we thought about that film. But we'll probably do that together with the Loki episode 5 together, maybe Will, and like
okay.
just just do that for next week. But anyway, to kind of just drop to kind of start from what was your impression of episode 4, Will? Was it better than the last episode, episode 3, for you?
Yeah, I think it got back to the like TVA shenanigans,
Mhm.
which has been my like highlight of the show. So yeah, I
Yes.
really like this one. um, Especially that ending. I did not see that coming.
No.
So very excited for next week.
Oh my god, yes, me too. This one was like oh my god, pinnacle of Loki being great. I fairly enjoyed episode 3. I was very happy that this episode we came back to the the major plot points and storylines that we kind of care about from the first 2 episodes. And I was surprised of the twists and turns we had in this episode, which was crazy. Like, oh my god! And I don't really have this. Well, I think this for this show, their first post credit scene, it's probably my favorite out of the other post credit scenes we have.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I think.
Yeah. But before we go to talk about the post credit scene and that whole ending, I was very happy we picked up where we left off in the last episode. With Seville or Seville or oh my god,
Sylvie.
it's Sylvie. Thank you, Sylvie and Loki. Uh, you know, uh, you were right, Will. Loki didn't have a time stone, which I was happy about.
Yeah.
It, well, it made more sense, so I was very happy about that. But it was a very interesting conversation between them, like, and it was kind of like it was kind of cool to see, like Loki, you know, like being vulnerable of this other Loki he's with and like and then you come back right away with the TVA. And by the way, like they did just fix the whole like time charges right away. Like
Yeah, I think they did um, fix it. I think the purpose of the um, like of bombing the timeline wasn't to like create all those branches so they could like pass the red line. I think it was to
mm,
make the TVA so busy that they'd be vulnerable to her going in there and killing the timekeepers.
that's true. Yeah, and I would say that's probably the best plan I think someone
It's
can
a
ever
good
do.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's actually cool. And I mean, and to be fair, the time variant authority are like the most powerful, so it
Yep.
makes sense they can clean it up very easily.
Hmm.
Um, and I also like it also kind of like I kind of feel sad because they're like they're the most powerful, but like they're are being puppets for this
Hmm.
like grand, like I don't know what's the grand plan of this
I
of
don't
this
know. I mean, we don't know who's pulling the strings. So
exactly. And we'll get to that, but like I mean I mean, I was just and it was cool to see Owen Wilson back and B-15
Mhm.
and like after I guess we can jump into this. Like it was instantly after they get recapture and um I again the Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston chemistry is still great and like just seeing Loki playing for Mobius like well like I'm trying to help you and trying to explain what's going on and like throwing him into this like time loop you know of
Yep.
this and of course we get the shocking cameo of Sif coming back.
Yeah, I was so happy to see that. Oh,
Yes,
I love Sif.
I know, I was so happy and I love like this was probably the best cameo like just the best time loop, the best cameo, and probably the most like heart heart to heart like heartwarming scene with Loki trying to like
Yeah, I like that this show is like forcing him to have that self-reflection.
yeah.
It's kind of like speeding him up through his character arc so he can get back to where he was in Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And it was cool. And I, I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but I think you know this. I like how one of the commentators from Heavy Spoilers mentioned that this, Loki cutting this Sif's hair is
Hmm.
from the actual Norse mythology,
Yep.
and I thought that was actually a clever way, and I actually loved that.
Yeah.
Um,
They've done that a few times when referencing like Thor and Loki's childhood, like the story of Loki like turning into a snake and fighting
yes,
Thor.
I
Yeah.
know. And I actually can I ask you something?
Mhm.
We have that, and I'm curious about. I don't want to go too far with the post credit scene, but like, you got the alligator Loki. Is that something particularly from the Norse mythology?
I don't think there's anything with an alligator, but he
Okay.
certainly has the ability to transform into animals.
Mm,
So, it,
okay.
could be just he decided he wanted to live as an alligator, or
Oh my
maybe
God.
he was born an alligator. I'm so curious about all
About
of
that.
those variants.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And oh my God. And by the way, it's so cute to see alligator with a horn. I
Yeah.
now want a toy and just have Loki hands.
I'm sure there will be some.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I was kind of curious about that because I thought, oh, because like they also reference like, oh, I don't know about this, like Thor becoming a frog, like that's referenced twice already in the
mhm.
MCU. Um, so but like I I totally forgot, and this episode also has probably the best payoff, or like something I totally didn't think of was B-15 remembering her memories, like, and I like how after Mobius kind of go past and talk to B-15 and how's the variant Loki, the female Loki is, and she asked this kind of like very cryptic question what he say and like and I think I don't know what Maurice said like oh that we're like uh
He said that the TVA was lying to
yes
them. Yeah.
like to them and I love her reaction to it and
Hmm.
and we and right away you kind of forgot oh wait after you know I guess this was a major reveal that how you say like um yeah she did say this in episode 3 right and that like she uses the memories of these of the variants to kind of
Hmm.
control them right
Right. Yeah.
and of course in this episode you kind of forgot that oh yeah she did that to her when we're in episode 2 and like it was very cool that oh my god she knows the truth and like I like that scene when they went back to the 250 um timeline where we were at the Roxxon chart mall, whatever strip, and it was a very touching scene. And like her saying that I don't create memories, you know I take them from what is in your mind, and I really like that scene. And it was really sad, to see B-15 just being very conflicted. And I think the actress here who plays Fate 15 was totally amazing. I love her in this episode. One of the
Hmm.
best characters in this show. Um, and I think this episode was particularly great to see the other character, Raven Slayer, the judge. Um,
Yeah, Renslayer.
yeah, Rand Slayer. Really seeing her true colors. In this episode,
Hmm.
like I mean, was it the episode when we saw the opening of this episode? We saw, or was it, or the the scene where we see Sylvie getting taken from the TVA.
Yeah, that was this episode.
Yeah, the opening, right?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting. And then and towards like almost the halfway point, like I can't believe she did this. Like she, Sylvie asked, the judge, like, "Do you remember why you took me out?" And she said no, but she did it in a sarcastic way, and she smiled. Did you saw
Hmm.
that?
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
was I
Like she
like
was
like.
like happy to get that dig in at Sylvie.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Totally,
it's
like,
cool.
oh my god, just awful. And like
Yeah.
also awful what she does towards the end.
Hmm.
Oh my god. What do you thought about her in this episode of that the judge and that character in this episode?
Yeah, am. I think it gave her a lot more depth in this episode. We saw that there's like that evil behind the like friendly rapport that she had with Mobius.
Yes.
Um, I'm really curious to see if she like knew that the timekeepers were androids, because she sees the the head timekeeper get beheaded,
Yeah.
and then she's still like serving them. Like she still zaps Loki with that stick.
Yeah. Um, I I think she knows it, and like, um, with having two episodes and like not really and knowing what's how this series gonna end and like go, like from WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we know where we're going at in those two shows, but this
Mhm.
one was completely like, oh my god, like I was expecting the timekeepers to be fake. It was like a
Yeah,
dimension twist again,
yeah.
and it was a funny, it was like a RoboCop scene almost, like it reminded me of like, the Ed 9, like being this menacing thing, and then it's a completely incompetent machine. Every
Hmm.
time it cannot do certain things, like stepping the stairs or like getting blown up by RoboCop towards the end.
Right.
Here, it was funny seeing when that one timekeeper gets a hits off, right, and they start clapping and laughing. It was like, what? Oh my god, that was such a bizarre scene, and that scene truly shocked me that they were robots. And I think, um, I think now because she is connected to Crane, I feel like she's the main villain of the show. You know,
Yeah,
just
she might be.
yeah. If we're not gonna see Kane in this show at all, or like if we get post credit scene of him, well, this judge is the main character, and like she's kind of like the like because she's like a lover in the comics apparently for
Right.
Kane, and I feel like she's like the main like villain for the show, but like the main puppet that's pulling the strings is Kane, and like he's using her to operate this whole like machine that's like controlling the timeline, right? And that could be interesting, seeing a villain like trying to strip order and you know in the this various multiverse, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I can see that, and then maybe we'll see like a post credit scene of her talking to Crane and probably apologizing of the mess she has created,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I really liked her. She's my favorite actress. She was one of those like very great episodes from Black Mirror, and I think her performance was great here. But the the MVP of this episode was Ola Wilson, man. And I like, who cares about him saying wow? I mean, I was him just talking about you know jet skis and then you know trying like actually giving Loki a chance to redeem
Yeah,
himself, and
yeah,
then uh and then oh my god, apparently die, and oh my god, so many emotions going with him in this
yeah.
episode. What do you thought about
Uh,
Mobius in this? Oh my god,
I mean, I was so surprised when they killed him.
I
I don't think he's dead now,
mm,
because we saw Loki wake up in that like destroyed city. But um, at the time, like at that point in the episode, you think he's dead. I was so surprised that they had killed that character.
yes, oh
And
my
I
god,
was like really happy to see that Loki seemed to have like a genuine like emotional reaction to that happening. Like he
yeah,
really has bonded with this character.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I know. I was completely shocked as well, and all it was is delivery of like you know what like because he um the way the judge they were talking in her office, and she asked him about where you want to go, right, or something like that in that conversation, and like he didn't answer that, and I like how his final lines was he responded back to what she asked him earlier, and like say, hey, you asked me where I want to go in any place, and he talked about the jet ski, and like that was such a ah burn line to hear that before he goes, and it's like
mhm,
and him now knowing that he's like a person that had like a life before,
yeah,
it's just so sad, and by the way, messed up that they like killed C-20, the hunter,
yeah,
uh, and like he didn't understand that, and like I like how Mobius is like one step ahead of everyone, like he knows there was something weird. I just like how he like kind of approach it, kind of like Loki.
yeah. No, they have a lot of similarities,
Yeah,
which is good. It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. And yeah, and this kind of mirrored a little bit like his mom, a little bit like this was like maybe the second blow he ever had, like in his days here,
Yeah,
and
it's like it's probably the second person in his life that's like believed in him and believed that
yes,
he could be good.
I
Yeah.
know. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
Um, and I guess I'm trying to figure out what else that we got in this episode. We also I mean um Sylvie didn't get much to do here. But like I feel like her chemistry, the actress plays this character. I like her so much. I like her chemistry with Tom,
hmm,
and towards the end, I think she was really great, especially her reaction to Loki's death or
yeah,
Helen's death.
yeah,
Um, and okay, so after we kind of lose Mobius, um, after that moment, he meets up again with Sylvie, and then they go down to uh, t- the timekeepers. Oh, now I remember. So the opening was her meeting the timekeepers, right? That's the opening of this episode, right, Will?
right, yeah.
And in your head, Will, what was your thoughts on the timekeepers before that twist? Like, what was going on in your head before that? Like,
I mean, I really thought that we weren't going to see them ever, and that they really were just like extra dimensional beings that controlled the flow of time. Like
yeah,
I took it at face value. I was like, yeah, all right.
okay.
So I'm really curious to see who's actually behind the TVA.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, it was like that opening scene reminded me of like a Doctor Who moment. Like it felt like the Time Lords, like
Yep.
one, one of their like the the High Lords of Time Lords. Like Rasalan, and all the Time Lords. You know, like British Crack and Monarch and stuff like that. Oh my God! And then this. it was a very interesting scene. Like just them, Loki and Sylvie just meeting the timekeepers. And this was probably Loki's moment. It's like finally seeing the timekeepers, and like um and it was interesting seeing how like they didn't like they were not afraid of getting killed because like especially Loki, this version of Loki, saying like he died so many times, right? He cannot
Hmm.
like be surprised he made it this far, and like and then of course this is where it was very cool to see B-15 freedom, and like we have a very cool fight with everyone, and like
Hmm.
and what's interesting seeing how Sylvie was so proficient of fighting where Loki couldn't, and like it was funny how she gave her the sword, excuse me, and like he was fighting now better with the sword.
Yep.
um that was interesting. And then and of course afterwards was it Sylvie that cut the timekeepers heads, or
Yeah,
AI?
she threw the sword and it cut the one head off.
Oh my god. And then and that moment I was like, oh wow. It was totally shocking. And then those two were like, okay, so they're not the timekeepers. And I can't remember what they were after that moment, what they were talking like. They were like, I mean, they were shocked at least about the revelation, but like um but it I'm trying to figure out oh so uh, uh I'm trying to figure out oh yeah, and like I say uh so this is kind of interesting with the timekeepers being a ruse. I noticed one thing that it's interesting that after the Falcon and Winter Soldier, like Sam tells Bucky about the villainous big three: the androids, aliens, and wizards.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny they actually make this hypothesis be accurate, and that was the thing that I was kind of surprised the most.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
like
yeah,
I
most of the like villains do fall into those categories.
that's all right. Well, that's true. Well, I mean, Marvel follows that tradition. I mean,
Yeah,
DC, no way, no way.
yeah, no,
Um,
I meant
yeah,
Marvel.
yeah.
And
But
like
that, yeah. Oh,
the Avengers movies.
yeah. The
It was a
Avengers was.
wizard, and then it was a robot, and then it
Yeah.
was an
Oh my
alien.
god, yes, that's true. I didn't know that's true. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
Loki is a wizard, and
yeah.
Ultron is a robot, and then
Thanos
Emperor
is an
Thanos.
alien.
God, that's so weird. I never picked that up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. And and while how you say it, they start talking to each other, Sylvie and Loki. Loki's death, or Loki's like pune, as they call it, like
Yeah.
when he got puned by the judge, and it resonated a little bit like Coulson's death, like that
Yeah, no, he was stabbed in the back.
stat in the back, and oh my god, and that was like totally shock. I was like, oh my god, are we gonna follow now Sylvie now, and like we're getting rid of that Loki, and Sylvie just right back, you know, um, great scene between her and that um a Slayer, and like her, getting the upper hand, ask her to tell her what is going on, tell her everything what's going on in this place, and like what's going on at this bigger picture, right, of the timekeepers and TVA. And I guess well to kind of wrap this up. Was like it was a very quick episode. Like it jam packed everything in so
Hmm.
efficient way.
Yeah.
Um, what I think we could get into a discussion of the post credit scene. Afterwards with the credits, and the song they put in the credits was also great. Uh, and I don't know what's that song. I think it was Moon
Uh,
something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I because was that the same one from last episode? I remember. Uh, I,
Uh,
I I'm trying to figure out. What was that?
If You Love Me, Really
Yes,
Love Me by Brenda Lee.
yes. That was a great song to put towards the end. I felt that really was appropriate, and I love how it goes to the credits. I like how the credits reflect on the episode as well. And afterwards, we got our first post credit scene ever in this show, just like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but this one took the cake. So I like, I think when like, well, like we know we're gonna get like another Loki, or whatever multiple Lokis we're gonna get in the
Yeah.
show. We got Sylvie, and then in this episode we got three more, and finally we got Richard Reed Grant to be in the show, and he plays the older Loki in the
Mhm.
comic accurate costume, and that made me smile. I was like, no
Oh
way they do
man.
it. Oh
He's
my
even
god,
got like the yellow like
Kate,
underwear on the outside. Like,
yes. Oh
yeah.
my god. Oh my god, he was like a spinach image of the comic Loki from the 60s. I was like,
Hmm.
oh my god. And then you have one, and then the other two were just strange. Like, we got Kid Loki, finally.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
cool. And then there's the other one with the Mjolnir, with the hammer. There's one for
Yeah.
Loki. I Oh my god, that
I'm
was um
yeah. I'm seeing on Wikipedia that Loki was uh, credited as boastful Loki. So I'm
yes.
interested to see what that means.
Yeah. And that is interesting because there's a reference to that foreshadowed him in this episode. Was it there's a Time Theater 47. Uh that's where Loki was left nursing in his tender Septimari or something like that. That 47 was a number of a comic book, Marvel's What If. That was in
Okay.
1940. That's
Uh-huh.
where Loki taking Thor's hammer, and it's funny how that also was a double, like a T'Challa of portraying the person in that post credit scene, and that was cool.
Hmm.
Um, and then we got Kid Loki, and then oh my god, I've been checking Twitter when Twitter was on that episode that week. The alligator thing was weird. I was like, the kids holding alligator with the horns. I was like, what's going with that? And I was like, I want to know if that is a talking Loki or just, oh my god, oh my
Yeah,
god.
I saw someone on Reddit made a joke. They're like, they really want Richard E. Grant to be voicing the alligator, and then the
Oh my
like
god.
older Loki just doesn't talk.
They're
So he's
talking.
played by Richard E. Grant, but he's mute, and then the alligator just talks with Richard E. Grant's voice.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I want that. Honestly, I want that more than ever now. That's so funny. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I mean, it'd be funny if they have another famous guy voice or famous girl voicing that alligator, and that would blow
Hmm.
my mind. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Um, I I will say it was a fun episode. I love this episode. I think the post credit scene for this episode was alone the best thing about this show. I I think this show is amazing. I love they're keeping like I don't know if you've been watching Superman and Lois, and I don't know if
No, I watched the first like 3 episodes, um, and then I don't know. I just never went back to it.
oh my god, you should go back. It's actually great this full
Yeah, no,
season.
I liked what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like the reason I'm bringing that up here is that show as well is doing what Loki's doing, just keeping like they have twists and turns that I didn't expect in that show as well, and
Mm.
it's amazing. Like I don't want to spoil that for you, but like it's amazing. It's like what this show's doing. It's keep it's keep amping up each episode, like trying to outdone themselves with this twists and turns, and like I'm very surprised about that. And I like that we haven't had this. Like I kind of like the theory stuff has been very controlled this series. I'm very happy about that. Like I, you know, the crane stuff hasn't gone too crazy because like I really don't know what's going on with the villain and stuff like that. And I really don't care because I really like this show. I think the show has done a better job of uh, keeping my expectation on check, but also giving me what I really like about Loki and the MCU in general. Um, what do you think about Will about that? Um, that statement I just made. So,
Yeah, no, I definitely think the twists are, really, they keep it fresh, which is good for a series, like a film series that's been going on for, oh, how long now?
got 5 weeks.
13 years.
13. Oh yes.
Yeah, Iron Man was 2008.
Okay. I was thinking about when this show was on from day one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
I no,
I
13
yeah,
years. Yeah,
the the show also benefits from just
yeah,
like the constant movement. Um,
yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's been like 4 weeks
yeah,
since June 9th. Um, yeah, and
oh,
it's been 13 years, as you say, Will, with um, with
Iron Man.
yeah,
Yeah, I meant like the MCU can get kind of stale because there's like definitely like the same like stories playing out over and over just in different ways.
yeah,
So you get into the rhythm and you like the formula, what's gonna happen,
yeah,
um, which is like I like the formula. I'm happy to come and
yeah,
revisit it every time, but
yeah,
it's really nice when something like Loki comes along and it like completely breaks that, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I agree. Yeah, yeah, and just like any other, the best MCU films like Guardians or Winter Soldier, like just break those like formula, centric MCU films. It benefits, right? And I agree with that. And I think this one, I think hit right. I think more than the other two shows. I think WandaVision hit well. It's just that finale didn't stick the landing, as we say before, constantly. And I like Falcon and Soldier, but it was kind of like what you expected, honestly. You know, just the action buddy cop thing. And you look at Loki, it's pretty much everything, right? Like you got like an unexpected body, a buddy. I'm sorry, body, a buddy cop kind of feel with Mobius and Loki, and then you got
Mhm.
like this mystery about the female Loki, but like why she's doing it and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
then it's just crazy. Um, yeah, I guess to kind of wrap things up, well, overall, this show has been good for you. You know,
Yeah, no, I love this one. Um,
uh,
this and WandaVision were the ones that I was most excited for,
yeah,
and I, I've been really happy with both of them. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited to see the final two episodes.
yes, I'm excited for that, and I'm curious. We're gonna see the both for Loki, and
Right? Yeah.
and
I've been trying to figure out how that works into the plot as it's been laid out, and I have no idea.
yeah,
So
it's weird. And it's funny. I've been actually posting that comic series and the Marvel Plus channel,
mhm.
and this show has a lot of that comic in the show, especially like holding out a hero. It's in one scene of a comic in issue 2 of Boat for Loki, and it was too convenient that they used that song for episode 2. Um,
Mhm.
uh, conveniently, and honestly, he wears the suit that we saw in the trailers and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm curious where that's gonna land. I guess he's gonna take over the apocalypse New York City, right?
Yeah,
I
it could be.
I or
Is
it.
okay. People keep saying that it's New York, and like it probably will end up being New York, but I didn't see anything in the
Oh,
skyline behind that like shouted New York to me. People were like, "Oh, I saw
really?
Avengers Tower." I like paused it, and I could not see. It just looked like crumpled buildings. I don't
No,
I don't understand why people are saying that it's New York.
it is New York. The Avengers Tower is there. It
I
just
didn't see the Avengers Tower.
really.
I paused it and I couldn't find it.
Um. Well, I it's kind of tough because I I will say that
I'm
um
looking it up again, but
yeah, because
uh,
I have the information. Yes, they're in New York, and because the Avengers Tower, Tony, tower is there, but it's not the one we have been seeing. That's actually the Stark Tower. Before that became the Avengers
okay,
Tower.
okay. Apparently there's a shot of destroyed New York with the Avengers Tower in the background in a trailer. I
Yeah,
haven't seen the trailers.
yeah. It
Um, okay,
yeah, yeah. That's New York. I was gonna,
okay, yeah, okay. I
but
see now. It
yeah,
was
I,
based on a trailer thing. Okay.
okay. Like that. That's New York, and
Yeah.
I very funny, and well, and the tower, it kind of looks different I because the like I'm curious if that's like after the Battle of New York or like almost like forever after Age of Ultron, because the Avengers Towers is kind of different in Age of Ultron over the first one, and you know, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very curious about that also, like the apocalypse of New York and like did the nuke that the world chancellor happen, you know, I
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very curious about that. I'm also curious about the other Lokis. Like actually, I guess we can um get into this. I think other mystery that post credit did put out is like, okay, we got now 2012's Loki there. Does that mean Mobius is still alive, right? Like is no one like did the people that get pruned go into this pocket dimension? Like
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
right? Like
Yeah.
I, I I'm very curious because like he's not dead, Loki and Mobius now. Like, now we know.
Right. Well, I have a new theory about how the vote for Loki thing comes into play.
Yes, tell
Uh,
me. I'm
okay.
curious.
Now that it's like confirmed for me that it's New York, I
Hmm.
think that is a different version of Loki who won the Battle of New York and is like ruling over the remains of New York City.
Oh my God, that makes
And
sense.
he's
Yeah.
gonna confront the Loki that we've been following.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so cool. And and he's like the leader of the variant Lokis we have
Mm-hmm.
seen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. And they're gonna be like the fantastic Lokis. That'd be actually cool to say. Oh
Oh,
my God. Like you got three, and then you got the elected Loki, and that's oh my God, that'd be too too cute. Oh my God, that's I think that makes sense. Um, I like your idea, but I think that's our Loki here, and it could be something like he took over someone's dimension and he just dressed up. Maybe I don't know,
yeah. Could be.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I like your theory. I think that's maybe the most possible for next episode or episode 6. I mean I
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what's going on. Well, I think that's did we cover everything, Will? I think
I think
for
so.
this
I think.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode was jam packed, I think,
Mm-hmm.
to just set up for the last 2 episodes and and the future of the MCU. But yeah, I fairly enjoyed this, and I think this was another one hit the park right, at like episode 2. So, uh, Will, thank you for joining me. I was happy to discuss this episode with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for having me.
yep, yeah, and as I guess as you guys know, we have Black Widow coming out next Friday, which is crazy. Next week is going to be a big Marvel week. Having episode 5 and then the Black Widow movie. I haven't talked to you about Black Widow, but like, how is your expectation with this movie? Um, well, for you.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't like too excited by it when they announced it.
Hmm.
Um, like it, it's long overdue to give
Yes,
Scarlett Johansson a movie. I just like I don't know. It's weird to do it after you've killed the character off.
I
Um,
know. I don't get that. Oh my god.
yeah. Um, and like I'm excited to see Florence Pugh and to like explore the Black Widow like mythos a little
Yes.
more, like expand on Nat's background. Um, but I don't like other than that, nothing about the movie's really like gotten me too excited about it. Like the trailers looked okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about Taskmaster as a villain, which is kind of concerning.
I I don't know if you want to know. Like, I see non-spoiler reviews. And the conversation I heard from Taskmaster. There's a twist with him, and one of the viewers, like, I think, who is it? I think Dan Merrill or Chris Stuckman mentioned that the twist didn't work.
Okay.
Sitting with him with a twist, like with Taskmaster, but it didn't work for some reason. Um, and to be honest with you, I can tell you this. Um, there's another villain here. The actor's name is Ray Wiston. He's a well-known actor. He's in like the Departed, uh, the Leo and Matt Damon movie with Mark
Yeah,
Ruffalo.
yeah.
Um, it. I heard his character is okay, but he's like bland. Like the villains are like the weakest part of that film. I heard.
Right.
Um, uh, uh, um, but other than that, I heard the action is good. Dave Harper and Francis Pugh is kind of like the highlights of that film. So
Hmm.
that's good to hear. So
Yeah.
so I'm very curious. I think Black Widow is my second favorite Marvel film character.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and
I mean, she's been really interesting in all the movies she's been in.
yeah, and
Um,
yeah, for me, after Iron Man, for me,
mhm.
and like she's like the second character I collect the most in comics after Iron Man, and in general Marvel.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm one of those people that I kind of wish we had the movie before. I
Yeah.
don't like it set in Civil War, like after Civil War. That's
Yeah. It feels weird.
yeah. I don't get that.
Yeah. Like
I
unless it's set in like a time period before all of the movies. Like I don't want the movies to jump around times that we've already seen.
yeah.
You know.
Um. Well, and like I'm fine with them doing time periods, but like 90% of the time period films they do is not original. Like they don't take creative risk with them. You
Hmm.
know, like First Class, Days of Future Past, or Wonder Woman, the, the first film. Like it's kind of like paint by numbers, really, when they do those kind of frequent things. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but um, hopefully, when I see the film, and as well, Will, you see it on Saturday. Hopefully we can discuss that in depth after we're kind of done with episode 5. So you wanted to combine the Loki episode 5 and Black Widow as just the one podcast?
Yeah. We can do that.
Okay, so let's do that. So, folks, as you hear, me and will pretty much will do that because it saves time and like and if I cannot imagine if this is something that episode 5 has um, that completely overshadows Black Widow, that'll be so funny because it's kind of funny how they releasing that in July, July 9th, the same week when Loki is still going. I just
Yeah. It's a weird release strategy, but
yeah
we'll see.
yeah. So well, I we'll see, and of course I we also know that like what's well her name is not in this list, but like I know like the character from Falcon and Winter Soldier, Catesta, the Viper
Oh,
character.
Yeah, Contessa De Fontaine.
Yeah, like is she gonna be in this movie now? Because I
I don't know because I remember reading when she showed up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier that she was originally going to first appear in Black Widow, but then it got pushed back because of COVID.
yeah. Uh,
So I don't know if they just like reshot some stuff to make it so she first appears in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they like
mhm.
removed her from Black Widow, or if they're gonna keep her in Black Widow.
I um
We'll
I
find out,
yeah,
I
we'll
guess.
find out because I wonder if they're doing the Thunderbolts. Like
It definitely seems like they're leading up to that.
yeah, I feel like they're gonna probably do a post credit scene of that with her, and instead of maybe like her role was maybe earlier in the film instead of post credit scene. That's what I think what happened.
Yeah, like yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I it could be that her role got reduced into like a post credit scene and like just you know 'cause now we saw her already for like 2 episodes from from the Winter Soldier and Falcon. So, but thank you, Will, for coming me. This was a terrible conversation. Yeah, next week's gonna be an exciting week, and for we're all Marvel fans.
Yeah,
So me, yeah. So everyone, enjoyed this podcast. Hit the subscribe button, and of course, folks, happy 4th of July, and have a good day.